My name is Jane Boch, B-O-C-K.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Boch, what is your occupation?
I'm a botanist.
All right. And what type of botanist are you?
My specialties are plant ecology, plant anatomy, and forensic botany.
And can you tell us what forensic botany is?
Forensic botany is the applications of plant science to matters of the law.
All right. And can you give us the benefit of your education?
Certainly. I have a bachelor's degree in botany from Duke University in North Carolina, a master's degree in botany from the University of Indiana in Bloomington, and a PhD in botany from the University of California at Berkeley.
All right. And have you had an occasion to teach botany?
Yes, I'm a retired biology professor, and I taught botany for, and I'm still teaching it a little bit, 40 years.
Can you speak a little closer to the microphone? I think some people may be having problems hearing you.
Yes.
Can you say that again? You taught what?
I've taught botany for 30 or 40 years.
All right. And have you authored any publications in scientific peer-reviewed journals on botany and forensic botanical issues?
Yes, I have about 80 peer-reviewed papers, maybe slightly more by now.
And what does peer review mean?
It means that you send in a manuscript to a head editor, and if they decide it might be of interest to their readers, they send it out to people thought to be expert in the field of the topic of the paper.
Okay, and have you authored any books?
Yes, I've authored 3 books and edited another one.
And what are the topics of those books?
2 are on plant ecology. 1 is on forensic biology and botany. And the 3rd one is on plant ecology.
Plant ecology?
That I
Okay.
edited.
All right. And can you tell me, please, whether or not you've received research support and from what organizations?
During my academic career of about 30 years, I had continuous research support from the National Science Foundation, not all of them at the same time. The National Science Foundation, the National Institutes of Justice, the Charles A. Lindbergh Foundation, the National Park Service, U.S. Forest Service. That's a good sample.
All righty. And what organizations, what professional organizations are you a member in?
I belong to the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. I belong to the International Association of Identification. I belong to the Botanical Society of America, the British Ecological Society, Neck Research International, and a couple others.
All right, and can you tell me whether or not you've given testimony in trial or deposition as an expert in forensic botany?
Yes, I have.
And approximately how many times?
50 plus if you count depositions.
And have you ever given testimony in cases in which you applied your knowledge as a forensic botanist to determine whether or not the remains of an individual had been moved from one location to another?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time we would like to offer Dr. Boch as an expert in botany and forensic botany.
What says the state?
No objection to her qualification, and if I may have a moment with counsel as the court is announcing her.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Dr. Boch would be accepted as an expert witness in the area of forensic botany and permitted to render opinions in that area. You may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Boch, what items have you reviewed in preparation for your testimony here today?
I have looked at photographs taken by the medical examiner and photographs taken by the Sheriff's Department crime scene investigation people. And I have visited the discovery scene, and I have read several documents, printed documents concerning the case.
All right, what printed documents have you reviewed?
I've reviewed the medical examiner's report. I've reviewed the description of the recovery site as described in Ms. Welsh's materials.
All right, and any reports from anyone else?
Yes, I've read the report of a forensic botanist, David Hall.
All right, at some point in time, Dr. Boch, did you visit the area in which the remains of Caylee Marie Anthony were found?
Yes,
And when was that?
that was the first day of February
Of what year?
2009.
All right. And can you tell me, please, whether or not you took any photographs?
I didn't take the photographs, but with me was Patrick McKenna, a photographer, and he took photographs of me at the crime scene and of the, not crime scene, excuse me, recovery site and my work there.
Your Honor, may I have permission to show the witness an enlarged photograph that was taken at the time in which she was visiting the scene?
You may.
Are you familiar with this photograph?
Yes, I am.
All right. And how are you familiar with this photograph?
This is one of the pictures that Patrick McKenna took when I was at the recovery scene.
And can you tell me whether or not it accurately reflects your visit on February the 1st, 2009 to the area in which the remains were found?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, may I have permission to publish the jury?
Have we got an ID number on it?
No, sir, we do not. Oh, it is? Oh, I'm sorry.
But is it-
Oh, it is. Okay.
If it's being moved into evidence, I have no objection.
It is 2008. Oh, CE. I apologize. It's CE.
You offered it in evidence?
Yes, sir, I am.
What says to state any objections?
No, sir.
It be received in evidence as defense exhibit number,
Number 29.
you may publish.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You know, I might want to suggest we might want to get a lavalier mic for Ms. Sims. She's very soft-spoken. I'm not sure that people are going to be able to hear her without.
Yes.
I can be louder.
Okay.
Well, it's a lot easier with a lavalier mic, so.
Dr. Boch, is this? Okay, yes. Dr. Boch, can you describe what is here, this area on the ground? What would you call this?
I'd call that leaf litter.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. May I have permission to move the photograph down?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what leaf litter is?
It's a general term used for leaves that fall off vegetation overarching the area where the litter accumulates. Mostly, in this case, it was leaves, but also pieces of stems can fall off of trees and needles from evergreen plants.
All right, Dr. Boch, let me ask you, after having read the reports and the photographs that you mentioned, and having visited the scene, the area, some 7 weeks and 1 day later. Can you tell me whether or not you have formed an opinion as to the shortest period of time that the remains of Caylee Marie Anthony could have been at the scene in which they were found?
Yes, 2 weeks, approximately 2 weeks.
And can you tell us when the remains were placed there?
No,
And what is the basis for your opinion that it is possible that they were placed there approximately 2 weeks prior to their discovery?
because of the pattern of the leaf litter.
The pattern of the leaf litter?
Yes.
And with regard to the vegetation that was found in the car that was driven by Caylee Marie Anthony, do you have an opinion with regard to the vegetation that was found in that car versus the vegetation at the scene?
It isn't in agreement with the vegetation.
I don't believe it's been established that the witness has ever looked at the vegetation. I'm sorry. That the witness has ever looked at the vegetation from the car or what her basis of knowledge of that is.
I'll back up and clarify.
Sustain, establish a foundation.
Dr. Boch, did you review a report from Dr. David Hall dated October 31st, 2008?
I did.
Okay. And can you tell me whether or not Dr. Hall set forth items that were found in or under the vehicle driven by Ms. Anthony?
He described vegetation and vegetation fragments associated with the vehicle.
All right. And with regard to that vegetation, what kind of vegetation was found?
Bits of leaves, for the most part,
From what?
especially from a camphor tree.
All right. And can you tell me, please, whether or not there is a camphor tree at the scene in which the remains of Caylee Marie Anthony were found?
There is not one.
Did you review a report authored by Dr. Hall dated February the 9th, 2009?
Yes.
All right. Let me ask you about that report. Does the field of botany
Objection to counsel listing comments on someone else's report.
Overrule at this point. I don't know what the question is.
Does the field of botany train botanists to estimate how long a root has been alive if they don't know the root solely by measuring the diameter of the root?
Objection. May we approach?
You may.
Dr. Hall,
Just a second. Okay, objection sustained. You may continue.
thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Hall, when you look at the photographs,
I'm Dr. Boch.
I'm sorry, Dr. Boch. It's been a long day already. Dr. Boch, when you look at photographs that were taken in this case, can you tell us by looking at the photographs how old the roots and the plants are? Just by
No.
looking at the photographs?
No,
Why?
because I don't know what plant those roots came from, and size and growth rates and all those
Can you get
things.
closer to the mic? I'm sorry.
Size and growth rates are characteristic of an individual plant, and they differ greatly among plants.
What kinds of things cause them to grow at different rates?
It may be the mineral nature of the soil, the presence or absence of lots of calcium, nitrogen, water, other plant roots being in the area, water, lots of water or a little bit of water, and so on. In other words, environmental factors.
All right, and if you were to attempt to determine how fast a root grew, what would that require in your field? What would you need to do?
First, you would need to know what plant it came from, and then you would need to do time-spaced observations on growth rates.
And when you say time-spaced observations, can you break that down for me?
Sorry.
And get closer to the mic. I'm going to be on you for that.
You would keep track of how the root elongated, at what rate it elongated, and what size changes occurred.
How would you keep track of that?
With a ruler, with a notebook, with a camera, with whatever you had at hand to help you. Or you could do it in a laboratory.
In layman's terms, you would watch it grow and measure it as it grew over time? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Okay. Cross-examination.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Dr. Boch.
Hi, Mr. Ashton.
How are you?
I'm well, sir.
You're from Colorado, is that correct?
That's right.
And most of your work has been in that area of the country, that sort of middle area of the country. Is that not correct?
No, that's not correct.
How much time have you spent actually working in Florida as a botanist? As a botanist?
It was the site of my PhD thesis work of it. And since then, I have had individual research projects in Florida and hope to have more in the not too distant future.
And when your PhD is from what institution?
University of California at Berkeley.
And you said your PhD thesis and when was that, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't mind. I got my PhD in 1966.
And what was your actual work in Florida in the 60s for your PhD?
Moving up and down the state, looking at the distribution of water hyacinths in freshwater bodies in this state and also in semi-marine areas, estuaries.
All right. And other than that, what other projects have you worked in botany since 1966 that have brought you to Florida to actually work in Florida?
I studied the food habits of the tortoise,
Right.
which is an endangered species, and is a vegetarian.
And when was that?
That was from about (1980) off and on through 1990.
And how did that work actually bring you to Florida? In other words, would you come for a few days? Did you live here then? Tell us a little about that Florida experience.
My parents lived here. I came to see them. I also had some research support about tortoises in general, and I used some of that support as well.
All right. Any other involvements you've had in studying botany in Florida?
Yes, I have. I was friends with the person who wrote the first flora of Florida. It's the late Robert Long, and I was very interested in the progress on his work. Subsequently, I've used field guides to Florida plants in order to become familiar with the thousands of plant species, native and non-native, that exist here, to further my botanical knowledge.
Was that review recently in preparation for this case or just in general?
In general. And it continues to now.
And any other involvements with studying botany in Florida, other than I believe you told me about 3 projects?
No.
All right. Now, most of your work has been in studying grasslands and grasses, isn't that correct?
Part of my work, and a big piece of it, is concerned with grasslands, here and in South America, and yes, here and in South America.
And you would agree that different areas of the country have unique botanical ecologies that differ.
Yes.
Right. Now, you visited the area where this body was found, correct, as you said?
I did.
And you also reviewed photographs of, a large number of photographs of the scene, both in its pristine form and then at various levels of exploration. Would that
Yes.
be correct? And you would agree that this area, based on the botanical specimen seen, is basically sort of a swampy area, an area that's frequently wet. How would you describe it?
It has been characterized in the ecological classifications as a swamp hardwood,
Swamp hardwood.
but that's an interesting term. Part of the plants that are common there are upland plants, not swamp plants, so they aren't wet all the time or frequently. Others are.
All right, so you would characterize as an area that wouldn't necessarily be underwater all the time,
No.
but would frequently be underwater.
Frequent.
Would you,
I don't know what you mean by frequent.
well, the plants that you saw there are many of them are species that require a great deal of water.
Yes, at certain times of the year.
So you would agree that the general character of the area is an area that is at least, we'll say, occasionally underwater.
Yes.
Okay.
Or wet.
Or wet. Now, your statements to council that you believe this body could have been there for as little as 2 weeks, you quoted the leaf litter, but is that opinion based upon looking at all of the botanical evidence in the case?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So you've viewed the roots that are growing through the hair mass, and is it your opinion that those roots could have grown there in just 2 weeks in December?
Could have accumulated there in 2 weeks, yes.
Well, is there a difference between grown there and accumulated there?
Yes.
Okay, my question was, could they have grown there in 2 weeks?
Yes.
And the roots which are growing through the laundry bag, you recall seeing photographs of a canvas sort of laundry bag with roots growing actually into the fabric. You recall those?
Yes.
Okay. And is it your opinion that that could have occurred in only 2 weeks in December?
Yes.
And the roots that are growing in the bones, did you see the photographs of roots actually growing into the bones in this case? Did you see those?
I saw the photographs. I also saw the bones, some of them.
And are you presenting the opinion that that growth into the bone could have occurred in 2 weeks in December?
I suspect so, but I'm no expert on bones, and I'm not qualified to comment about osteology. But based upon what I know about the ability of roots to penetrate substances, yes.
But you, I believe, have, and I appreciate candidly admitted that you have never dealt with a decomposing skeleton where you had root growth in the skeleton. You've never had that experience, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
I have in skeletons that had been in place for several years.
So you say you have dealt with,
I have looked at that evidence. And so sometimes yes and no is not so easy.
okay. Well, let me just put it to you this way. Have you had the occasion to examine a skeleton where plant or root had actually grown into the skeleton?
Yes.
Okay. Let me direct counsel and the witness's attention. Do you recall giving your deposition on February the 12th of 2011.
Oh, yes.
Okay. For council's benefit, this is page 64, going to page 65. Do you recall the following question being asked? Okay, well, let me put it to you this way. Have you ever had occasion to examine a skeleton where plants or roots had actually grown in the skeleton? You said, this would be page 64, line 24. You answered no. However, I've taught classes where I've done experiments getting roots to penetrate heavy, thick articles. I asked bones, and you said, I'm trying to think because they're just amazing. Clay, I don't think I ever used bones. No bones. You said, doesn't sound like me.
Not in teaching. However, I belonged to an organization and was present at a crime scene where there were forensic anthropologists, forensic archaeologists, etc., MDs, and I observed in this perhaps 10-year-old skeleton. By that I mean it had been there 10 years. I did see roots, and so I should have qualified what I said, but I didn't even think about that when you asked me that question.
So when I asked the question, that incident didn't occur to you, but it's occurred to you more recently. Is that correct?
I just calmed down and thought of it.
Okay. But at any rate, you would agree that your experience with roots grown in bones is extremely limited,
Yes.
as you said. Now, in the photographs that you viewed, you would agree that there is leaf litter built up on the skull for at least sort of to the area of the lower portion of the eyes, correct?
I'm not sure what your...
Did you see the photographs of the skull as it was found in its pristine form before any leaves or anything had been removed?
Yes, perhaps. I don't know when individual leaves were removed.
If I may have just a moment, Your Honor. Make sure I've got the evidence number. Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to show, and Mr. Perez, if you could pull up photograph in evidence 211. And
May, okay.
and may I publish to the witness and the jury?
Yes, you may.
Now, are you familiar with this photograph?
Yes.
Do you agree that this photograph shows that the skull is buried in leaf litter up to about the level of, say, the ear or the nose area?
I see one leaf on top of the bones.
Well, I wasn't asking about the leaf on top of the skull. I have a telestrator here, so I'll mark what I mean. Around this area, you can see that leaf litter has collected around the skull up to about the area above the jaw, sort of covering the opening of the nose. That's how high the leaf litter is, isn't it?
I suppose that's all leaf litter, but it may also be humus.
Well, whatever it is, it clearly has collected to a level that rises to approximately above the jawline and to the level of the nose. Whatever it is, it's collected to that height. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay.
And is it your testimony that that amount of leaf litter can collect and pile up in that form in just 2 weeks?
There are other considerations about this picture.
Well, I would just, if you would direct your consideration to my question, I would appreciate that.
Yes.
To make sure that the witness had finished her answer.
Ma'am, did you finish your answer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's also go to now State's Exhibit 213 in evidence, if I may publish that as well.
You may.
Thank you. This is, do you recognize this as a photograph of the skull when it is returned to the medical examiner's office with the leaf litter around it collected with it?
Yes.
And would you agree that this reflects leaves of widely varying degrees of decomposition?
Yes.
Some of them retain their, are still green. Some of them are sort of yellow. And some of them are completely, some of them are brown. And some of them are completely gray. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Is that a reflection of a variation in decomposition level?
It also is a reflection of when the leaves fell from trees.
All right.
Some
So-
fall from trees when they have no chlorophyll left. Others are blown in to a place. Others shed their leaves when they're still bright green and the chlorophyll hasn't retreated.
But this, is it your testimony that all of these varying levels of decomposition in the leaves immediately around the skull could occur in just 2 weeks in December?
Are you talking about the left side of the skull or the right side of the
Either
skull?
side.
Because I don't understand exactly, I did read, I don't understand exactly how this collection was made.
If I might, for purposes of my question, if you would accept the following hypothetical, that the medical examiner investigator put his hands approximately 6 to 8 inches on either side of the skull, reached into the ground to dirt level, and attempted to the best of his ability to lift the entire leaf litter, both around and under the skull, intact to the best of his ability.
And undoubtedly collected things and must have moved some toward the skull.
I think it would be hard not to. But do you recognize in this photograph a widely varying group of decomposition rates, or you know, that these leaves have fallen at all different times and at various levels of decomposition, correct?
Yes, I imagine some were.
And some of these leaves clearly have been off the trees for a lot longer than 2 weeks, haven't they?
And lying under other things, perhaps.
My point being, if these leaves are in fact the level that has fallen since the skull has been there, then clearly the skull has been there for a lot longer than 2 weeks. Wouldn't you agree?
Given your hypothesis that it had,
Question.
Go ahead.
given your hypothesis that it had lain there undisturbed all that time, the answer would be yes.
Then what is it that you're basing your 2-week estimate on, if not the very leaf litter that we've just discussed?
The fact that the litter in the picture that was displayed up there,
Which picture?
the big cardboard picture.
Oh, the picture that taken when you were there.
Yes,
Okay, in February. All right.
all the leaf litter that was there was accumulated on ground that was scraped bare, by the 15th of December.
Are you familiar with leaf fall rates for trees indigenous to Florida? In other words, what times of year they drop their leaves, at what rate? Are you familiar with any of that information?
Yes.
If I may, I believe. Is this the one you're referring to, Defense Exhibit 29?
Yes.
All right. So what you're saying is that because there are the amount of leaves on the ground here, which occurred in approximately 6 weeks, but the leaf litter isn't covering the ground, is it?
In some places it is, in some places it isn't.
Right. Where do you, may I pursue this?
May,
Do I need a lavalier, Judge? Can anybody hear anything?
it would help tremendously if you did have one.
Maybe. No. What? Can you hear me now? I turned it on. Oh, it's on now. Thank you.
on now.
We got it. May I have the witness step down? That might actually be
Yes.
easier. You would step down, Doctor?
Yes.
Now, Doctor, and just sort of step to the side there so the jurors can see, you would agree that largely this area, most of what you see is bare ground or bare roots, not covered by leaves. Is that, like, this area here is bare, this appears to be some sort of root here. What area do you feel is covered with leaves? You're talking about the area to the left of the photograph. Now, is it your testimony that the amount of leaf litter seen in this photograph is greater than the amount of leaf litter built up around the skull?
It could be the same as.
Okay, I'm sorry. We probably need a lavalier for her too. I apologize.
I can use my professorial voice.
Well,
It could be the same as.
is that good enough for everybody? Okay. Professorial voice will be fine then.
All right.
All right. But, so your position is that this leaf litter we see here, even the greatest accumulation, is equivalent to the leaf litter going up approximately to the victim's jaw line or nose that we saw in the photographs. Your opinion is those are the same.
The leaf litter that was obvious in that picture certainly is equivalent to that.
Did you measure the leaf litter in any of these areas of accumulation?
No.
Now,
Did anyone else do that?
the neat thing about this is you don't get to ask me questions. But that's okay. That's okay. Now, I'm sorry, Tim. Now, in this condition, you would agree that this area has been stripped bare not only of ground vegetation, but of overhanging vines, correct?
Yes, according to what I read, but I wasn't there then.
Well, you've seen the photographs.
I have.
And you would agree that the photographs show this was a densely overgrown area with a number of overhead vines, et cetera. It's very dense.
Yes.
Right. Now, this configuration would permit leaves to blow and build up in particular areas, correct?
Sure.
that might not necessarily be the same in the scene photos where you had heavy vegetation that would have prevented leaves from blowing and collecting in certain areas. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
In the area where the body was found, when it was pristine, is it your testimony that there was nothing impeding the blowing of leaves through the vines and the overgrowth and all the other stuff?
There are complications to things flowing freely here and there as well.
Why are there no leaf fall on the right side of the photograph as opposed to the left side of the photograph? Can you explain that to the jury?
Excuse me, let me interpose that objection, Your Honor, because I think it misstates the evidence.
Judge, the photograph speaks for itself.
Overruled.
You would agree that this side of the photograph has considerably less leaf fall. That is, the right side of the photograph, you're facing it, is considerably less than the left. You would agree with that?
Yes, at that moment in time, it does indeed.
So, I guess my question is, why is that?
I can think of several possible reasons.
Okay, go ahead.
People trampling around. This was a frequently visited spot after the recovery became public knowledge. And that's one possible explanation.
What other?
Wind action is another. Animals is another. And the nature of the trees themselves, just as root growth depends upon the kind of plant it was, similarly, leaf fall rates depend on the kind of plant it was. This flora is not, it's semi-tropic. Some of those plants are evergreen and keep their leaves all year round, but that's deceptive. They shed leaves all the time. They drop pine needles. The other evergreen trees are constantly shedding a few leaves at a time. Other plants in this forest, certain species, just drop leaves in the fall.
Now, it's important in comparing this photograph to the photographs of where the skull was found to compare apples to apples, to compare the same spot to the same spot.
Yes.
Where on this photograph was the skull?
To the best of my understanding, because I was not there, was someone who absolutely knew it was right in here.
Well, you don't really know.
No, but I was told that this particular tree had significance.
So you were told by somebody that wasn't actually there when the skull was removed by Mr. McKenna, correct?
Mr. McKenna had visited this site several times before I did, the week before I was there, with people who seemed, who should have been informed, and I suspect were informed.
Okay. Who was that?
Linda Bodden?
Was it some defense attorneys in the case? Without saying names, is that who you're talking about?
Yes, and and other expert witnesses too,
Okay.
forensic scientists.
Now, so your opinion, your impression was it was exactly where?
It was in this area.
Somewhere in this area here?
Yes?
Okay. No further questions? I'm sorry, have a seat. Thank you very much. No further questions on that issue. I just have The bottom line, though, Dr. Boch, is you are not prepared at this point to render any opinion to this jury about when Caylee Marie's body was left at that scene. You can't render any opinion. Is that correct?
I thought I had rendered one.
Well, so let me ask you this question. Are you prepared to render an opinion in this case as to when the remains of Caylee Anthony were placed at the location they were found?
No.
Okay, so you are not prepared to render an opinion as to when they were placed?
I did render an opinion.
Now you've lost me. Are you rendering an opinion as to when you think these remains were left there?
A couple of weeks before.
Do you recall me taking your deposition again on February the 12th of 2011, page 68 for counsel line 16? I ask you, okay, are you prepared to render an opinion in this case as to when the remains of Caylee Anthony were placed at that location they were found? You answered no.
I don't remember what went on before that and after that with your questioning, but if I said it, I meant it,
May I
however it was tendered.
May I approach the witness? Just want to let you take a look at it. If you want to read the context, feel free.
We were discussing Greeley, Colorado at the time, but I know why I said that.
Okay. Did you explain to the jury why you answered no in February and apparently yes today?
I don't know exactly when it was placed there. My best guess is what I have presented today.
Well, now, on direct examination, you said that, in your opinion, it was a minimum of 2 weeks. Are you now indicating that it was a maximum of 2 weeks also?
No,
So you're not of the opinion that the body had only been there for 2 weeks, correct?
it's possible.
Okay. It's also possible it was there for a great deal longer than 2 weeks.
Yes.
No further questions. May I approach to retrieve the deposition?
You may.
Oh,
Redirect.
Dr. Boch, you were asked questions about how long you'd studied plants in Florida. And then I think you mentioned that it was a semi-tropical area, the area in which you viewed where the remains had been found. Is that correct?
yes.
All right. Let's be more specific. How many years have you studied plants, vegetation, and botany in semi-tropical areas?
30 years.
Okay. And how many years have you taught plants and botany and roots, growth, etc., in areas growing in semi-tropical regions similar to the areas in which the remains were found?
Throughout my time as a professor, 31 years at least.
All right. And if a bone fragment has a hole in it, can you tell me whether or not a root can grow in the hole?
No,
A root fragment, if there's an, well, let me put it another way. If there is an opening, whether it's a bag or any substance, is it possible for a root to grow into that opening?
depending upon what kind of root it is.
Okay. You were asked about leaf litter. Did you see the log or the tree that was near the remains?
Yes, I did.
And did you see fallen leaf litter on that log?
No,
And what is the significance to you of that, if any?
it inspired me to look at that log
Why?
because I was curious about whether it had been turned over, whether it had laid in that position for a long time.
And was there any documentation in any of the material that you reviewed that weighed the log or identified how long it had been there or determined what specific vegetation was around it, was under it, was on the side of it?
In Officer Welsh's summary reports, she discussed that it took 2 people to move it. So I suppose it was heavy.
Was there an identification of the plant material under the log
No.
or to the side of the log? What information could that have given you?
Objection calls for speculation and relevance and exceeds the scope of cross.
Overruled.
I believe it could have indicated how long the log, the tree, had been in that position, had it been moved, how far along decay was, and something more about other plants in the area, perhaps.
All right, and you were asked about humus and leaf litter, and I'm about to, if with the court's permission, approach the pad and make a drawing
Okay.
and ask the witness to stand down if possible.
You may, Doctor.
Do I need the lavalier? Could you draw humus for us, Dr. Boch, and then draw leaf litter on top of that? And could you use your professorial voice?
Yes. Soil is made up of a series of layers, and the top layer is called the humus layer. It's the layer usually that has the most organic matter in it, broken down plant parts and animal parts, insects, bacteria, and so on. And as you move down in the soil, it becomes less and less organic. That is, it becomes more and more pure rock and sand. So this line is the top of the soil. The humus layer is this top layer. And on top of this, that sketch represents leaf fall, but it could be other things as well. It could be twigs of various sorts. And in this case, remnants of roots of things sometimes appeared right on top of the humus area. Those eventually, through the process of decay, will be incorporated into the humus.
Okay, thank you. And let me ask you a question. On the date in which the photographs that you observed that you understood to have been taken on or around the time in which the remains were found, what were the conditions? Was it wet?
Your Honor, could I object and ask counsel to identify which photograph by evidence number?
Well, the photographs that you were shown,
Your Honor,
Sustained, need to identify it by the evidence number so the record will be clear.
all right, I'll just rephrase the question, Your Honor. When you looked at the photographs which had the remains in place prior to their being moved, can you tell me, please, what the conditions or moisture appeared to be during that time?
same objection, Your Honor. We need to reference a photograph so we know what the doctor is.
I'll move forward. I'll withdraw it and move forward.
Okay. Motion withdrawn.
All right, doctor, if you have an item and you place it on leaf litter and the area is very wet and the humus is very wet, can that item sink?
Of course.
Thank you.
You may resume your seat, Doctor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, that's all I have of this witness at this time.
Any reread cross?
Could I ask counsel to move the easel back? If they're done with it. Thank you. Doctor, is it your testimony that the skull in this case sank into leaf litter or humus or anything like that?
It could have, I don't know.
Or it could not have?
Or it could not have, or it could have been pushed, I don't know.
Or it could have been laying on top of the leaf litter, and the leaf litter, by a natural process over several months, collected around it. That is also a possible explanation
Yes,
for it. Were you aware that one of the bones from this skeleton was buried in 4 inches of muck
no,
or humus? If you had that piece of information, that by operation of time or operation of water movement, that one of the bones was buried 4 inches into what is described as muck, would that not tend to indicate that this skull had been there for a great deal longer than 2 weeks?
the skull was in,
I'm sorry, a bone, a hip bone, was buried in 4 inches of what is referred to as muck, which I assume is wet, I assume you would call wet humus. Wouldn't that indicate pretty conclusively that this skull had been there a whole lot longer than 2 weeks?
or a dog
Or
buried it.
I'm sorry, a dog buried
They
it.
do, as do coyotes. I don't know if you have those here.
No, we're not blessed with coyotes, but we have a lot of other things. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay, may the doctor be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Boch. You may be excused.